Attention has turned to Anambra State with just 2 days remaining until Election Day. Today, the 6th of November, marks the official close of campaigns across the state. Now, with permanent voters' cards now expected to have been collected, the focus shifts to the Independent National Electoral Commission. Reports reaching us this afternoon suggest that sensitive materials are about to be deployed to the local government ahead of Election Day from Central Bank, Awka. Now, as voting day approaches, questions arise about the prospects of leading candidates. This is the Anambra Governorship Election Countdown. I am Nathalie Ukwu. Good evening. Joining me today, of course, is Afia TV Head of News and Current Affairs, Mr. Alex Ogbodo. Mr. Alex, so good to have you.
Good to be here. Afternoon.
Well, now the first thing that comes to mind when we talk about candidates, I always ask this question: who do you consider the major contenders in the election? We have, of course, the Awka, we have ABC, we have LPPDP, but somehow some people consider the ABC to a major contender. Do you agree with them?
Well, the way Anambra is currently, this is Soludo's election to lose. With everything on ground, Soludo has campaigned harder than everybody. If you're going to gauge this election based on how hard any of the candidates have prosecuted their campaign, I think Soludo has moved around more. His campaigning has been more vigorous. He has more things to say. And the other candidates are, I guess, well, that's what democracy is about. You have to participate. Maybe that's a joke Soludo usually throws to the candidates when he meets them. So he will ask them, as in, are you contesting for something? So if a candidate you're running for election with is asking you that, it says a lot about asking.
Well, some people have been looking at the LP candidate as well, Moghalu, and whenever they talk about him, they look at the P2OB, and they feel like P2OB has not done enough to support this candidate. What do you think? Does P2OB have some kind of mandate to support him more?
Well, P2OB has his influence, but unfortunately, there are a number of factors at play in this Anambra election. Soludo comes from Anambra South, and there is zoning on the table. If anyone steps in now to break the zoning arrangement, remember, the North handed over to the South. So, Moghalu is from the North. He's from Nnewi. So, if you have a Nnewi candidate, if he wins, how many terms is he going to do? So, these are some of the things there. So, the truth of the matter is that, I think I mixed it up. The Moghalu issue is that he is from the same area that you have Soludo operating. If he steps in, will you stop him from getting a second term if he wins? He said that he will not do a second term. He will only do one term. But if he wins, you know that Jonathan factor, right? The Jonathan factor will come in. Everybody will start telling you, Your Excellency, you are entitled to a second term. The Constitution is on your side.
The ADC, do you consider the ADC one of the majority parties for this election?
Well, in Anambra State currently, yes, I see maybe he's campaigning hard too, but I don't see anybody upsetting Soludo in this election. It will take something to go colossally wrong with the Soludo campaign today, for that to happen. Go and watch their campaigns, because you have to gauge it. In the 2023 elections, you saw that if Tinubu is pulling a 1 million crowd, P2OB is pulling 1.5 million. So you're always seeing that he's matching them in terms of the crowd, in terms of the movement to different places. I'm not seeing that. Maybe this has to do with the amount of resources available, but at the end of the day, right, it's about the man with the momentum.
Mm-hmm. When we look at the candidates and their qualifications, I mean, some people look at the Awka candidate, and of course, you can see he has his robust qualifications. That's, of course, Soludo. But looking at ADC, where we are right now, we understand that this qualification would not stop anything from happening. I mean, you can basically contest even if you just have a degree, right? Or probably you have your O levels or your WASC. But right now, we're seeing the ADC candidate, because qualification appears to be one of the major issues the Awka candidate continues to refer to during his chats. We have his first school leaving certificates, WAEC, IMT Enugu, Unilag, Lagos Business School. I mean, all of this. And then when you come to a Nicholas Ukachukwu, who appeared to subliminally come up during the last media chat with the incumbent governor, you see he has his first school leaving certificate and his GCE. GCE we know is an alternative for WAEC in the Nigerian curriculum. Then you look at his deputy. We have former Senator Ekunife Uche Lillian, who has her first school leaving certificates, GCE, and all of a sudden we skyrocket to a PhD.
So I don't have her academic history. All you need is the lowest possible qualification. There's already a baseline. Submit your WAEC or something and you're fine. You don't need to tell everybody you're United Nations ambassador. I mean, that can come up if you're talking about yourself. But based on what you're submitting, you're going to submit what is easily verifiable. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. So, but we'll sort that out.
All right. So when we come back, we'll continue to speculate on the chances of his candidates. Don't go anywhere. The countdown returns in just seconds. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. You're still watching the countdown here. Anambra decides in just under 2 days. Of course, I'm still here with Head of News and Current Affairs, Afia TV, Mr. Alex Ogbodo. Mr. Alex, I mean, right before the break, we're talking about qualifications, and this has become a subject because the incumbent governor continues to bring it up. He continues to question the qualifications.
I think that's a non-issue. The issue of qualification is a non-issue. So at the end of the day, someone is running to be governor, and he submitted something. And the institutions that those things were submitted to couldn't keep anything. So what is he saying now that campaigns are on? For me, I don't even think it is, well, it's within his right to question the qualifications of his opponents. But I do not think that will affect anything. It will not affect.
But the question here is about the deputy candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Ekunife. Now, we understand that she has been at some kind of loggerhead with of course, Professor Soludo because of remarks that have been made. We also saw the scandalous video of her refusal to go ahead and greet, or alleged refusal to go ahead and greet Professor Soludo.
Nobody needs to force her to greet. I think it wasn't nice.
But that the news there, Mr. Alex, there was a peace accord.
It's a peace accord, but you don't force a hug. If you come to a peace accord, merely because you're a governor does not mean everybody should come and greet you. I mean, these are things, presidents, governors, senators, and House of Rep members should know it. If you are highly placed, it doesn't mean that everyone wants a hug. So if you have, in an interview, not once, not twice, you've cut her like onions. Do you think that someone with a clear mind will want to come and have a handshake or even offer a hug? If Soludo was at the receiving end of that, would he want to have a handshake?
Okay, so you've made clear your stance on ABGA. You do not think ABGA can be unseated in this election.
No,
let's talk about the All Progressives Congress. Now, we've seen the shift in Nigeria to a one-party state where everybody seems to be going with the tide to connect to the center. That's the new mantra, connecting to the center. You have the candidate Nicholas Ukachukwu there and his deputy. Now the qualifications of the both of them are constantly being brought up by Soludo, but somehow he has the influence, the federal influence backing him.
Does he?
Does he not?
You tell me. You are the one that said he has it, meaning that you know that he does. So merely being in APC does not mean you have the support of President Tinubu, and that needs to be put out there. Unfortunately for Nicholas Ukachukwu, if you look at the quality of candidates Anambra produce from time to time, this is my personal thought, I think it's not there. He's run for governor over a period of time. I think he's probably the most experienced governorship candidate on the ballot. But you know, having contested for governor once, twice, or even 3 times does not confer on you competence. You can be competent, but being a governor is a different kettle of fish. And remember that the primaries that brought him on to be a flag bearer of the party was also heated. There were court cases. Remember, there were people who had to leave the party.
That's right.
Paul Chukwuma had to leave the party as a result, because everybody believed that Paul Chukwuma could have taken that. But there are lots of issues that came up from that primary. And Soludo has constantly told you that all progressives are working together. He seemed to be in concert with the president. And from what I'm seeing, from where I'm seated now, and I'm looking at Anambra through these lenses, nothing will unseat him except something goes wrong fundamentally.
Do you see, I know this might be seen as an unfortunate or an unfair question, but do you see, judging by what you've said, you know, I asked about support, and I basically, before your response, thought that the APC candidate would have the support of the central, but now I seem to be having a change in mindset, right? Do you see a Nicholas Ukachukwu as a placeholder of the All Progressives Congress?
I wouldn't want to use the word placeholder, but if you also throw your mind back to the number of times he's been a governorship candidate, how did he fare in those elections? Let's be fair. I think that this time he became the guy that picked the ticket. But the question is he the brightest star that could have taken it? For some other persons, maybe another person could have had a more brilliant campaign. But Anambra has a history of producing governors that are well read. Is that the case here? Because if you check from Dr. Chukwuma Ezife, Dr. Chris Ngige, Peter Obi, Willie Obiano, so in that order, there are people who you are sure that they've gone through the academia and they're doing well in business. But, I mean, they have a particular standard they are setting.
In terms of popularity, do you see a situation where Uche Ekunife, who is his deputy, is apparently becoming more popular than the governorship candidate, judging by the media, the media circles around?
No, you see that Senator Uche Ekunife, she's been to the House of Reps, she's been to the Senate. Before this election started, she was the DG of the Southeast Governors Forum. So, Uche Ekunife is a thoroughly politically exposed lady. So you are not teaching her the rudiments of politics, how you do it and how you don't. She understands it. So if you are side by side with Nicholas Ukachukwu, Ekunife is more politically exposed than Ukachukwu.
So do you think Ukachukwu and Ekunife stand a chance at the polls?
They can do as well as they can. They can do as well as they can. You know, I mean, if this was the Anambra election has become the way it is, I just think that we just need to have an election on Saturday. But I would like to see how Anambra people will vote, because the whole Anambra and the APC, you know, it's we need to see it. We need to see it.
Let's talk about the People's Democratic Party in Anambra State. We're seeing Ezenwafor Jude. Of course, he seems to be at the fore of that. He is, of course, campaigning for the seat as well. You know, we know the developments that led to this. Initially, the PDP complained that nobody was coming to buy the tickets. Then there was the alleged assassination attempt of the candidate. And now he still stands there. He's still campaigning. He's still contesting for that seat. Do you see him unseating Governor Soludo of the state?
So, if you are returning to school, and your parents are supposed to give you pocket money, and you look back at your house and your parents are fighting. You hear the gunshots and even the slaps and the smothering of property inside you people's sitting room. The PDP has imploded. This is not a good time to be a candidate of the PDP, especially at the lower levels now. Right this moment, the PDP is not a party that is together. In fact, I may well say that the PDP is not a political party now. They are not, because the people who ought to be running the party have decided to divide themselves. They've divided the PDP like the Red Sea.
I mean, is it rather their end you've put in place?
So unfortunately for Ezenwafor, it's not going to work. The party that is using their platform is in shambles.
Right. So let's talk about Val Ozigbo. He's been quite vocal on social media. You know, he basically defected to the All Progressives Congress and things did not go as planned at the primaries. He ended up losing to Nicholas Ukachukwu. And he has put out a cryptic post on X where he's not saying that he's grieving, but he's basically trying to show gratitude, basically. Trying to explain that he witnessed a series of betrayals, that when he left the Labour Party and entered the APC, that he was being portrayed as a mole, and that made them to lose trust in him. So he has dropped that post ahead of the election. Somehow, some people reading him might have the perception that he's feeling some type of way. We can say that because he was supposed to be at the fore of that, and now there's somebody else, and people see him as having made the biggest mistake of his life. Where do you stand on this?
I think the whole ambition about being governor can be tougher than a lot of people think. And Anambra provides even a tougher test for anybody that wants to be governor. You can't be governor in Anambra merely because you are popular. You can't be governor in Anambra merely because you are rich. There are a number of factors that will work in your favor. And unfortunately for Val Ozigbo, he made that move to leave the Labour Party at a time the primaries for the APC was already at hand. So every discerning politician in the party you are coming to, having seen you shoulder to shoulder with Peter Obi, would think, but they have come to just to have a look in. I mean, if I was in the party that he came to join, I wouldn't hand him the ticket. The only time you can hand someone who's joining your party a ticket is that it's a sure banker that if he gets the ticket, he will win. That assurance isn't there. It isn't there. And the point is, everybody seems to fidget about who can take on Soludo.
Now we have two minority parties. We've talked about the four parties. You don't see ADC as a majority party. You still see ADC as a minority for this election.
Like currently, yes. No. Okay. Maybe in 2027, yes.
Maybe. So it's still growing.
It's too soon. The party hasn't even sorted themselves out properly.
Okay, so let's now look at the minority party candidates that appear to be gathering momentum and steam and popularity ahead of the election. We have Japhet Weke, and that's Nnamdi's favorite. I'm sure you've seen his slogan. He says, "Rise with the nigger."
That's right.
Okay, and if you go to Anambra State right now, I assure you, you would see these posters, you would see these billboards, and he has rallies going on. I'm sure those rallies will end today, end of the campaign. So he's asking everybody to rise with him. Quite a contemporary message, rather forward-thinking, rather young. What are your thoughts? I mean, let's check out his age. So he's 55 years old, yes, but he still considers himself a nigger, a young nigger, I suppose. So, I mean, what do you have to say about the chances of the Action Alliance candidates, Jeff Weke?
Yeah, Japhet, you see, this is it. You need people who will come with their campaign and have a messaging that can actually get your attention. This is how it starts. I think it's in Uganda or Kenya. I think it's in Uganda. There's a guy called Bobby Wine. So every time he runs for election, he's very popular, but he never wins. Maybe his time will come. Maybe the nigger's time will come. Pardon the N word. Maybe his time will come. We don't know. But again, running for governor can also be just to fulfill that tick that box that I participated.
Do you consider him an Americana? Rise with the nigger. I mean, you apologize for using the N word, but he boldly uses it on himself.
But I don't think that's the nigger he meant, though.
So who is the nigger?
So I think he he's just trying to bring on a sloganeering cliche that will help people to resonate with him.
So you don't think that's the nigga, but he puts a photo of him so and says rise with the nigga. You don't think that's the nigga?
Right now, the man at Awka is the one to beat.
Okay, so let's look at the AAC candidate, and people seem impressed by her manifesto. They keep on comparing her manifesto with those of others. They even claim that some of them are non-existent. I mean, she's a rather beautiful woman, and she's just in her 30s. She's 36 years old. In terms of her qualifications, right here from the INEC portal, they say she has a first school living certificate, WASC degree as well. And of course, that's Ife Melodike Chioma Grace. Campaigning, or contesting rather, under the flag of the AAC. Where do you think she stands? Now, it was surprised that some people support her. In Anambra, some people say that, yeah, they're standing for the AAC candidate.
I mean, she has a strong surname, Ife Melodike. But it's not about having a very beautiful poster. Let me tell you, in 1993, I think it was 92, when the primaries were on, if you would decide at an election with how beautiful someone's poster is, I would have given the election to former Senate President's father, Olushola Saraki. He's late now. He had a very beautiful poster. I said 1992. It was in full color. His poster was more beautiful than that of Abiola and Tofa. I know what I saw. I saw the poster. I'm saying, oh dear, the poster looked so presidential. But the poster can look so gubernatorial. But then, in the real sense of it, you don't have what it takes. You don't have what it takes, one, to run a campaign that will get to the nooks and crannies.
But one would say that she has some kind of influence. I mean, she is a Nollywood actress. I mean, that means she has some kind of clout, some kind of fame, some kind of popularity.
See, I don't want to start
resonating well with the women.
I don't want to start mentioning people's names who are in Nollywood, and they've tried to run for office, and they know that light camera action isn't the same as electioneering.
How do you feel about the poster, Mr. Alex? How do you feel about her campaign posters? Do you think the posters were appropriate? Let me use that term, appropriate. How do you feel about the posters?
Well, one would think that she feels comfortable in what she showed. She has her reasons for showing that. One would think that maybe the poster is targeting a particular demographic. You know, how do women feel about this poster? How do men feel about the poster? How do children feel about it? I mean, if you're running for governor and you're a lady, is that how you want your poster to be? I'm throwing the question out to people watching, so that they will not say, Alex said she doesn't dress well. Maybe she's comfortable in what she's wearing. Maybe someone can question why two of us are wearing black. It was purely coincidental. And it could be coincidental that she just decided to do that photo shoot. So that their tongues will be wagging.
The tongues will wag for sure. Do you think that she has another agenda outside of this, and perhaps she's trying to gain popularity through this contest?
Well, if you run for governor, you become popular. There was one governorship aspirant in Enugu who told me, Alex, I won't mention his name, Alex, since my poster circulated all over town, I get upwards of 50 messages asking me for assistance. Yes, he confided in me. I won't mention his name so I don't embarrass him. People will be asking you for all sorts of things. Money for food, money to repair this. Even some people will even want money to pay their children's school fees, because they believe that if you're running for governor, you have money. So
Now,
you should help them.
For you to come out and say you want to contest for governor, you want to contest for president, I mean, ultimately, you should be in pursuit of some kind of clout. So people definitely will have needs, and they think if you have to do it because you want their support, that's another agenda, motivation. But at the same time, it's quite an expensive one, and the popularity, some would argue, is short-lived. They feel like it's a waste of time for someone to come out and contest under a party that doesn't have that level of clout. It's not considered a majority party, because you're going to end up wasting resources, helping people, and at the end of the day, you after the election, you just fizzle away.
No,
is it worth it? Is it worth the resources?
If you look, there was this former Minister of Women Affairs, I think it was, that she ran to be president under the platform of the APC, and she stepped down for Tinubu at Eagle Square. And she became a minister. So you never know. You never know how this will go. I mean, I don't believe that merely because you ran to be governor in a different party from the governor, that means you hate the governor. I'm sure even the governor knows that that's not what it is. The governor would be surprised if nobody wanted to run against him. So the responsibility of building Anambra should be the responsibility of everybody in Anambra. So running for governor is also part of that responsibility because it cannot be left for one person. Imagine that it's time for election in Anambra, nobody accepts to run. To be calamitous.
One of the slogans of the YPP candidate in the Anambra election is "Joy is coming." What does he mean by "Joy is coming"?
Very early in the morning.
I mean, but I'm serious.
You were not expecting that response.
I was not.
I'm sure he must like the song.
Maybe because you see, "Joy is coming" an exclamation mark. So let's shift from that and look at. But what do you really think, Alex? Tell me your thoughts.
About his election.
One of the slogans. I'm not sure if that's the main slogan, but I see the billboards.
Okay, fine. Joy is coming. Yes. Are Anambra people sad currently?
That's the big question.
But you have to always give people benefit of doubt in terms of how they want to shape their message. Soludo is Soludo solution. Soludo solution. He played with his name. And it worked for him, Soludo solution. He has his manifesto. Everybody will say what they want. Peter Mba says tomorrow is here. Some other persons say different things. Some will say let's change the game. We'll say
let's look at Nicholas Ukachukwu. He says some billboards say his posters, it's broken, we'll fix it. How do you feel about that slogan? It's broken, we'll fix it. It's staring at Soludo every day in the face. He's saying it's broken, we'll fix it.
Okay, let me say this. There's nobody who's running for governor against an incumbent that will agree that the incumbent is doing well. There was something former Enugu governor said when he was running for re-election. There was this young man who ran against him. I've forgotten his name. At that time, he had the support of Adoration Ground. And they will come, they will make noise, they tame for this, tame for that. And the campaign was popular. And they had a debate at Holy Ghost. And the candidates there were promising different things. The guy came up and promised this and promised that. And when it was Sullivan's time, he just said, cautiously, you don't say things you cannot do merely because you want people to clap for you. You will give free education, you will pay workers 1 million a month. When you sit in that office, you know that you have to work out your salvation by trembling. Because you will have to match the resources the state is getting with the projects you want to do. Anything in between is what you can now use to do extras. Right. But when you are running for the campaign, you say, you fix this in the first 2 years, Anambra will be cruising. In the first 3 years, Anambra will be this. Easier said than done. Easier said than it's when you enter, we know. Okay,
so now let's run this race. It's a race to the Anambra State Government House. If you were to arrange the different parties and their different positions at the end of this election, who is going to come first? Who's going to come second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth?
I don't know about fifth and sixth. I know Soludo will come first. Ukachukwu will come second. Moghalu will come third. That's what I'm seeing, based on what I'm seeing.
What about...
Remember, there is now a problem, and we need to put it in perspective. Nnewi is crowded. So you have Moghalu from the south. All of them are from the south. Even Ukachukwu, Osume, is from the south. And even, what's his name? The YYPP candidate, also from the south. The same Nnewi. It's loaded. So they're going to share the votes out. So it works good. It's perfect timing for Soludo. In fact, I consider Soludo one of the luckiest governors seeking a second-term re-election, because he has on the ballot with him people who will not dislodge him. I think it's very lucky. Unlike what Obiano faced during his re-election bid, even at the debate, you could tell that the governor at that time, Obiano, was tense.
Right.
He debated Obaze. I think Obaze was the main contender at that time. I think Obaze was in the PDP. So it wasn't easy.
Many people say that the APC candidate has resources, that he has influence. Some people are desperate to unseat the incumbent. There are some people that, unlike you, actually have faith in Nicolas Ukachukwu of the All Progressives Congress. I mean, what makes you think he would not shine through like he did at the primaries?
I did not say I don't have faith
in him winning. It's all about winning.
Unfortunately, I'm not qualified to vote in Anambra. I'm only restricted to the analysis I can do based on information available. Information available, data available, intel available is that Soludo will win the next election on Saturday. But except something goes fundamentally wrong today.
When you talk about something going wrong today, do you think that if Soludo were to win this election, would he win by merit, or would he win by...
I don't know what you mean by merit.
Has he done well?
A governor doing well is relative. It depends on who is answering. I'm not even from Anambra State, but I've been opportune to move around Anambra. So when you look at Anambra, you ask yourself, if you're going to match what Soludo has done with what it is you believe Anambra people want, the question is, how will you find out what Anambra people want if you don't speak to every Anambra person and chronicle their wants or their needs? Because it will still boil down to the basic things: water, health, roads, education.
So you've reeled this out yourself. Do you think he has done enough in this critical area?
He's doing things. He's doing things. I think that something has happened for Soludo, which sometimes maybe affected the way people look at him. The presence of Alex Oti in Anambra State and the presence of Peter Mba in Enugu State tended to put Soludo.
What about Wifu in Ebonyi State? The Banco flyover.
I'm just telling you. Let's just restrict. Those are the two best performing governors in the Southeast, based on statistics available. But these are governors who are just about 3 years in office. All right? So Soludo has basically completed his first term, is going for re-election. So if you constantly find yourself being rated with governors you are maybe a year and a half older than in office, that must be troubling.
I like your assessment, Mr. Alex, but the Anambra residents are not campaigning, or rather are not going to vote for a Peter Mba or a Wifu.
But you understood my analogy.
I understand. That's what it's great analysis. Yeah. But those people are not influencing the people they are voting for, or the person they want to vote for. Of all the candidates that they have the power to vote for, that is where we are right now at this point. Because Peter Mba, yes, is doing well. We have Alex Oti doing well as well. But they are not contenders in this election. So let's try to base our analysis on what's happening.
I use that to conjecture because it was the question he asked that warranted.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day,
it's a great analysis.
Governors are seen with the optics of what they've done. Now, if you're a governor and you only give scholarship to students in universities, and say you are building human capacity, that you might think that it's working.
So what you're essentially saying, Mr. Alex, is that people might feel he has not done well enough because of the other governors that they've seen do things.
Yeah, but there's something happening which I have to also tell people to watch. People are also basing what they say about governors based on what they see on social media. I think it's unfair for you to make a proper statement about whether a governor has done something. You should at least visit the state. If you don't visit every other place, just visit the capital and look around. If you cannot go to every place, visit the capital. It will give you a little glimpse to what the governor is thinking about. You can at least tell the thought of a governor by visiting the capital city. I mean, I've been to Anambra and I've moved around. I've been to the Ekulobia flyover. I've seen what's happening there. Soludo seems to be building a number of things. But he is building things. When you put that against what Anambra people want, Is that what the majority of them want at this time? Saturday will tell us.
Saturday will tell us for sure. Now, during the presidential visit to Anambra State, some people felt that a lot of the things being, well, constructed by the state governor were solution-oriented. The sports club, the government house, the country club rather, the government house, solution fund city. A lot of these things were elitist for them. They felt it was favoring more of the government needs. Did you join them to think that? Did you hope to see more rural projects?
You know, there is always a tendency for anybody who's in power to radiate his worldview. So I'm not sure you can bring Soludo lower than his worldview. So every governor will express his worldview through his choice of projects, how he couches his slogans, how he designs the structures, the way he talks about the thing.
But must everything be solution?
But that's
must it be solution for system? So what happens when he leaves office? What happens? Is the new governor going to allow solution to continue? What if the International Conference Center, for instance, was called Tomorrow is Here Conference Center? Sometimes you need to leave things for the state. You need to do something that would withstand your exit when eventually you do exit. So should he have named everything that he'd done solution?
I think that's you have a point there. When you look at, if as a governor you do a housing project, say in Gariki, and imagine that Benugu governor does a housing project in Gariki and he calls it Tomorrow is There Housing Estate, and does another one and says Tomorrow is There.
So what happens after?
I think that it doesn't quite make sense to me that everything you have done as a project should bear your name. Well, your name is already there. It's your signature. The whole plaque thing will be there. This blah, 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 commissioned by His Excellency, so and so. It will be there forever. If you go to Okpara Square, you will see who commissioned it. If you go to International Conference Center, you will see who commissioned it and who started or who finished. This information will be there. If you go even this estate, it could have been named Sullivan Chime Housing Estate. But if you go there, you see the plaque at the gate. It's there. It doesn't have to call. The governors should just learn this. You don't have to call everything your name for people to know that you did it. We know you did it.
What do you I mean, it's great that we're mentioning that because it's happening right now. I think it's time for a shift in that if our words hold any water at all. So now, what do you think would be the greatest contributing factor to Governor Soludo if he were to win? What do you think would be the greatest contributing factor? I take it back to the merit question. Would it be merit or would it be political alignment?
But if you take a look at the lineup of candidates properly, take a look at it properly, I think Soludo is still the most formidable candidate.
Because of qualifications or because of something else?
Okay, you might say qualification, but if you take your mind back to central bank, would you say he didn't do well as a central bank governor? If that counts for something, who else, based on what they've done in the last 15 years or 20 in Nigeria, has towered above what Soludo did before he became governor? Because at the end of the day, that's what you'll also look at. Soludo knows that. So that's why he's very confident. He's very confident to ask people, that is it.
So essentially, you're saying that if he were to win, he'll win based on pure merit.
Yeah, I mean, he's the incumbent governor, and if you ask him, he's King Konging.
I want to hear you say it.
Say what?
Not to do King Kong.
Yeah, if
he were to win, would he win by pure merit or not?
I don't know what you mean by pure merit.
When I say merit, would it be because people are happy with him, or would it be because he has connections?
Okay, let me say, sometimes you could win an election because people don't have a better alternative. And I made that point when I was analyzing a lot of the candidates. Maybe for want of a better choice, they believe that Soludo is stronger. They will stick with who they know already. They don't want to, because anybody that enters now will jettison whatever, this solution, that ends. And the person steps in and start telling you, under my watch, there will be no solution, anything in Anambra. So a lot of people in Anambra also don't want to wake up one morning and demolitions are going on because people don't want to see solution this, solution that. So let the man finish his second term. And then the thing goes to another senatorial zone, which now my thinking is the Central. Anambra Central will produce after Soludo does a second term. And you have a lot of people who are eminently qualified and heavy-handed in terms of the cash available to them to prosecute the elections.
I mean, all eyes are going to be on Anambra State this Saturday, Mr. Alex. All eyes and all eyes are going to be there, at least before the next 2027 election. We're all going to be looking at Anambra, right? Do you see, your analysis gave this impression that, in your thoughts, that LP might come third on a scale of 1 to 3. Abga first, APC second, LP third. If LP were to take the third position, would it affect the perception of the party? Would it further dwindle the reputation of the party? Would it further take away from the LP wave that we witnessed in 2023?
The LP of 2023 is not the LP of 2025. That Category 4 hurricane has been reduced to a tropical storm currently. Because even the LP, they've had their fair share of implosion. The Abure, who is leader, Nenadi Usman, somebody took money, I didn't take money, all those stuff about who will be the leader in the party. And then there's also accusations of people meddling from outside, just to destabilize the party so it wouldn't have the momentum. And that also affected how the steam of the campaign, because you are not now sure what will happen with the Labour Party, whether there will be Labour Party even in 2027.
That's the big question. I mean, or if Labour Party is going to be the new good
so
party.
that also affected it. And then the key thing is that where they come from. If you come from the governor's senatorial zone, nobody from the central will want to vote for someone that will stretch the stay of someone from the south beyond 8 years.
Okay, so
that's another thing that will affect the voting pattern.
I have a crucial question for you. Now, if going by your speculation, because I'm going to get more speculations ahead of the election, based on your speculation, if Abga were to win this election, do you see Professor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State defecting to the All Progressives Congress? Do you think that he has made a closed-door commitment with the presidency?
Oh, well, that will be hard to tell for now. Because you've seen the backlash from Bielsa for Doyodiri, who defected despite not having any election ahead of him. Bielsa they're my in-laws.
I mean,
I had to say that because
that fans the flames of this question. But
because yes, typically that Soludo has ambitions beyond being a governor. So in that case, you don't know what will happen, because obviously Soludo will be comfortable in 2027. So he will not be under pressure to defect. He is a sitting governor. So he is not standing for any election in 2027. I don't see him relinquishing his position as governor to go and run for president in 2027. If Soludo is interested in being a president, he will have to wait for a few more years.
This is not a question on presidency, Mr. Alex.
Yeah, because if you are defecting, you are defecting because of an interest.
Exactly, because that's a good point. You talked about Doyodiri.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Doyodiri, there's a backlash because his deputy says he's not defecting.
No, we established the backlash. Yes.
So now, for Soludo, what will be the interest? What will be the lure?
That's where we're going. So you talked
so
about
I'm looking at it that I don't see anything that is luring Soludo to defect immediately after winning. He will take his time. Even if he will defect, it will not be this year.
So you think he will defect eventually?
I'm not quite sure
Possibly.
of that. I'm not quite sure.
But it's possible, isn't it?
It's very possible.
Okay.
With any Nigerian government, defection is possible.
You talked about Doyodiri defecting, and despite not having any other thing to fight for. So that could indicate or give a perception that perhaps he's trying to secure.
He says his defection was for his own nation.
Okay. So now, in the case of Soludo, if he were to defect, I mean, we know, and you said you don't see him having a presidential ambition, but somehow.
No, I didn't say that.
Do you think he would have a presidential ambition?
He has a presidential ambition, obviously, because that's the basis for his face-off. Whether you admit there's a face-off, That's the basis for his face-off.
Then what would be the fastest way? What would be the fastest way to the presidency? Would you go to the presidency with APGA tickets or with APC or being an APC member?
There's no fastest way to the presidency if you are from the southeast. For anybody from the southeast, the path to the presidency is full of thorns. Yes.
All right. That's a different conversation altogether. Thank you, Mr. Alex, for joining. I mean, your speculation has been clear. And of course, tomorrow we're going to have more insights on the speculation of candidates. We'll find out if our next guest on this program is going to rate APGA #1, or if perhaps another party will steal the show. Would Nicholas Ukachukwu make a big comeback for that guest? We'll find out tomorrow. Same time, 1 p.m. of course, same channel, Afia TV, DSTV 254, Go TV 17, and Free TV 748. Until we meet again tomorrow on the Afia Morning Show, have a lovely day ahead. Bye for now.